How's it going, everybody? So this is going to be a very different type of video. No music nerd stuff here. The subject today is banana trees and bananas. I live here in Missouri, and well, it doesn't seem like a likely place to grow banana trees. They do pretty well as long as you know, once they're mature. The end of the season, you bring them into the house, into the basement, and let them sort of go dormant during the winter, and then you bring them back out, and you know, they get pretty big. This guy behind me, I'm standing on my deck, so I've got a number of fairly big ones. There's some peeking over the fence there. But the point of this video is just show you something that doesn't happen very often. Get this guy turned around and take you over here. Another big guy. And there's this one here. That has bananas in Missouri. I'm going to stop this so I can give you some better shots of this guy. Okay, I'm going to start here so you can kind of get the scale of everything. There's our monster banana tree. It was a lot bigger last year. And here are the said bananas. This is fairly late in the season. And at the bottom of this spiral here is the pod, which is the where the flowers come out. And you can see the little flowers here. That's kind of how it works. Is one leaf will lift up and produce these little banana flowers, which are technically edible. They kind of take a lot of prep to do, but this has been going on. This process of them opening up and producing flowers has been going on for quite a while. Every one of these ridges here, I can't see that. Every one of these ridges represents a small grouping of flowers. So this has been going on for since early July, and it is now the end of September. And the spire goes up until you get these small bananas, and then it works its way up to the larger ones. And now I'm getting into the sun, so I'm going to move around to the other side. And sit down here, and when the flower pod starts, it opens up, and these bananas are the results of the female blooms. And once it gets down to the point where it stops making actual fruit, the rest of it is the male blooms, which do not produce fruit. So this leaf is just kind of stuck in here from another banana tree, the baby. Banana trees can be fairly prolific. As you can see, they're sort of dotted around my yard. Got some there along the fence, there along the fence, and I usually give away quite a few of them at the end of the season if I can, because they're just really prolific breeders. They produce a lot of little guys. But bananas is something that you don't see so much, and I'm going to rearrange the camera and talk a little more about that. So, so you're wondering, how can I do this? If I just grow some banana trees, am I going to get bananas? And since this process started, I, been posting stuff on my Facebook page and pictures, and everybody, a few people said, we just got banana tree plants. When is this going to happen? Who knows? This is kind of a freak of nature, given the climate, that you can't keep them out all year round. I have seen it a few other two other examples of this happening in the St. Louis area, which is where I'm at. Technically, maybe it shouldn't happen. I've been growing banana trees for over 25 years. My cousin Mary Beth gave me some years and years ago, and I've been growing them. They get very big, but so far no bananas. This particular tree last year was the biggest, tallest tree I had ever had. We had to cut 2 or 3 feet off of it to actually get it into the basement where it winters. And maybe that helped it. I don't know, because some of you, if you've ever grown banana trees, they don't really stop growing. Even when you dig them up, cut off the leaves and put them in the basement, they keep trying to produce leaves, which is what this guy did last year in the basement. He kept trying to push leaves out. Now, he was kind of set at an angle up against the wall, the basement wall, and the leaves didn't have any place to go. They would just kind of curl up over the basement ceiling, because there were things like, even cut back, it was like 8 feet tall. So, maybe that helped it, because from what I've read, in order for them to get to the maturity where they can even bloom, they have to grow for 18 months. Obviously, that didn't happen over last summer, but it apparently grew enough in the basement with, it gets a little bit of light in there. There are windows. I have a growth lamp, a growth lamp over my work deck for some other plants that we winter. And but apparently it was enough growth for it to think, okay, I'm still growing, and to mature. And like I say, it was early July, I guess, that it started growing or started flowering. And what happens is, I'm going to move this and try to get a picture of the pod again. See if I'm getting that. That pod, which was quite a bit bigger at the time, it was probably about 1 foot long, came up here. It was like a bulge in the neck, came up and came out here, and then just kind of fixed itself this way and dangled. And then it started producing flowers. And then the flowers, the first, I don't know, I counted these, I think I've got like 7 bunches of bananas. They would bloom and they would become these little cigar-like things. I can get this in here. Try to. Right, they all kind of started out like this, and obviously got bigger. They've gotten more plump over the course of the summer. And apparently they self-germinate inside the pod, and they come out, bloom, go down, bloom, go down, and the female flowers turn into these bananas. Now these bananas are a little bit smaller, not as big as the ones you're going to get in your grocery store. So the next question is, well, will they ripen? Will they have time to ripen? From what I've read, they need about at least around 80 days on the stalk to ripen. And warm weather quickens that process, which is probably good news, because it's been to me anyway, an unusually warm and hot summer. Much hotter than I would prefer. So, to get to its 80 days, and I figured this out when they started blooming, and we need to get to the end of October without it getting really cold. I mean, it can get a little chilly, but if you're getting down to freezing, getting under 40 degrees, it gets a little dicey. But if the weather can stay reasonably warm in October, in the last few years it has, thank you global warming, but I should be able to not have to harvest this until the end of October. Then is it ripe? Of course not. Once you harvest them, you have to hang them for like an additional 80 days or 3 months or something before they actually ripen up. Ideally, you would do that outside. Obviously, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to hang them out in November and December here in Missouri, but I think we can find some place in the house where it's relatively warm and they can ripen up. And it makes sense, as most of us know. Bananas are cut while they're still green, and they put them in boats. It may take the boat a month or two to get, by the time the boat comes to America, gets off the dock, gets to your grocery store, it's been 2 or 3 months. And by that time, they've had time to ripen. So, yes, it's been kind of a rough year for me and my family. I'm not going to get too much into that, but this has been a bright point, a sort of thing that, well, at least we had this bizarre happening here, and it's pretty cool. So if you have the banana trees, maybe lightning will strike and you'll get bananas. Probably not, but it gives you something to look forward to. I'm not exactly sure how big they have to get, if that's the deciding factor, or if it has more to do with its growth pattern, at least thinking it's been growing for 18 months. Anyway, so that's this episode, and I'm going to I have a lot of photographs that I've taken as the process has gone along. I'm going to try to put that together into a little video. It may be at the end of this segment, or I may post it as a separate video. But that's today's topic: growing bananas in Missouri. Thank you for watching. See you next time. you.